One of the most confusing to the Americans war that the United States has gotten involved in. Bosnian War. They were probably thinking to themselves,
European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day.
wait, they're Muslim though. What do you think about that? And that's how the United States did not even bother to intervene until the very end of the war. And by intervene, I mean just bombing the hell out of Serbs and Bosnians in the form of NATO. In Yugoslavia, most, if not all of the military and army equipment were in the hands of the Serbs. So when Bosnia wanted full autonomy, Serbia used Islamophobia and its full military capability to ethnically cleanse Bosnia and Herzegovina of the Muslim population. At the beginning of the war, Iran, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia were the ones to arm the Bosnian Muslims to defend themselves against the Serbian aggression. Don't rush to bring up the fact that the CIA was helping Bosnians through Saudi Arabia. They were selling arms to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia was bringing them to Bosnia. The United States have made their aid to Bosnia back already. Unfortunately, the camera fell down because of the wind, and the rest of the video I'm gonna just put some clips together so you can understand what was going on during the Bosnian War and after the Bosnian War. I know it would have been much better to see my pretty face during this video, but what can you do? This war led to one of the worst atrocities in Europe. Dozens of massacres of Muslim civilians, and the most known one being the Srebrenica Genocide. This is Bosnian Serb General of Republic of Srpska, Ratko Mladic. In July 11, 1995, he and his troops entered Srebrenica, a UN safe zone, full of thousands of refugees, most of them, if not all of them, being Muslim. This is what he said when he entered the Srebrenica.
Nema potrebe da ginu baš. Ni vaš muž, ni vaša braća, ni vaše komšije. Dovoljno je da kažete šta želite. I sinoć sam rekao Gospodinu, možete opstati ili nestati.
He started gathering men and boys as young as 13 years old and separating them from their families in front of the UN peacekeeping troops, putting them in buses and taking them as war prisoners to nearby sports fields, schools, warehouses, and so forth. Today, 27 years ago, in July 13, 1995, he started mass killing of all the men he had gathered. For the next week, Serbians killed more than 8,372 men and children. Moms lost sons, wives lost husbands, sisters lost brothers, daughters lost fathers. Serbian military knew what they had done. After the war, they went back to the mass graves and moved the bodies and dumped them in nearby rivers and caves. More than 91 mass graves have been found around Srebrenica. A 14-year-old boy's body parts have been found in 4 separate locations. Some saw this as a lone general gone rogue. Ratko Mladic was found guilty by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia and sentenced him to life imprisonment. However, secret documents from March 31st, 1995 showed that Ratko Mladic had planned these atrocities and shared them with his higher-ups months earlier. The genocide of Bosnians have been recorded and planned by the Serbian officials months, if not years ahead. Census-based research shows that more than 65% of all the victims of war were Muslim Bosnians, and these are the minimum of the numbers collected. Year by year, these numbers keep growing and more mass graves are being found. Bosnians have lost a lot during the war, but somehow some Bosnians credit the US as their liberator, which cannot be any further from the truth. New York Times released this article in December of 1995. If you read between the lines, in the Islamophobic anti-Iran propaganda, they ended up revealing how Iran actually was the closest ally to Bosnians during the whole war, and probably without knowing, told the real reason why the US swooped in the last second of the war and claimed victory. New York Times outright points out the military base that the US is creating in Bosnia. That's the only reason why the US have gotten involved in Bosnia in the first place. Like this mural of my closest friend's uncle, a war hero, says, All gave some gave all. Bosnians only have one person to thank for their heroic victory in 1995. Themselves, not the Western powers that were blind while the thousands of Muslims were being killed. It's all Bosnians that gave some, and some Bosnians gave all.